Squishies. Welcome back to another vlog. This is Ducktales, Season 2, Episodes 3 and 4, The Ballad of Duke Baloney, and The Town Where Everyone Was Nice, which is a great title. So first off, the first episode was definitely the stronger of the two. I really like that they went with Glomgold being South African after all, and his accent is completely fake. That was well done. That was something that had been hinted at in the first season and just made explicit here. Of course, the whole joke here is referring to the fact that in the comics, Glomgold has always been South African, but because of all the controversy around South Africa in the 1980s, apartheid was still going strong. They were being boycotted by most of the world. The show elected to have him be Scottish instead. So this is how they, the whole thing about the 2017 show is that it's trying to take the best from comics and the Ducktales TV show, and this is just one example of them doing that. I can't help but feel like that owl is going to come back as a villain at some point. I can't remember her name. Owl. No, I'm blocking. It had owl in it, but I can't remember what it was exactly. Anyway, she's, something about her just has a so nice she must be a villain vibe. I just feel like that's that, or she's going to be a foil to Glomgold in future episodes. That could be neat too. But I really like this idea that, shorn of the experiences that have made him terrible, Glomgold could have been a decent and happy person if he had just, not had those experiences. And we see one of the most critical of those. Scrooge tried to recreate the dime scene, but because so much time had passed, which, by the way, confirmation here that Glomgold is like maybe half Scrooge's age. Which is, in the comics, I don't think it's true. They're about the same age in the comics. Glomgold's origin story in The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck is quite different. He's still South African, but he's a prospector in South Africa, looking for diamonds, if I remember correctly, and he pretty much screws over and betrays Scrooge. Actually, are they in South Africa, or is it the one where they're in Australia? He's South African, but I don't remember if their encounter was in South Africa or Australia. Anyway, the point is, he and Scrooge were kind of in the same place at the same time, not just physically, but in terms of their life stories, but they went in very different directions. Here, Scrooge is established as much older, and as being influential on Glomgold, but not in the way he wanted to be. He was trying to encourage Glomgold to be like him, and instead, Glomgold, took offense and vowed revenge, because that's what Glomgold does. And I mean, his elaborate schemes are hilariously ridiculous as always. Louie and Webby following him through the whole episode make for a great kind of, not quite Greek chorus because they don't agree. They're kind of presenting opposing takes on him, and I actually really like Scrooge's observation at the end, or not at the end, but when he first meets Duke Baloney, which apparently is Glomgold's real name. When he first meets him, he's happy. And Scrooge is happy for him. Basically, he's not hurting anybody. He's happy. Leave him be. which is so true of so many people and so much of life, and so many of us seem just incapable of doing that. And then, of course, at the end of the episode, we have what I'm assuming is going to be a season-long plot, since they said it's going to be ending in a year, this contest, where they're competing to see at the end of the year who's richer. Winner gets the loser's company. I remember sort of a plot like this in the old show. For some reason, it's the one multi-part episode that I can never quite hold on to clearly in my brain. I vividly recall the other ones, but this one, it had something to do with glowing fruit, I think. And there was a giant pair of scales, and whoever was richer would get the fruit. And there was something about raising Atlantis from the deep and turning it into a floating island. And the nephews and the Beagle Boys running around Atlantis trying to find the lost treasure while the island tilted back and forth. So there was a sort of vaguely similar plotline as a point, because the core of it was a bet about who would be richer, and it was a time period of much less than a year. It was like a week or something like that. So, interesting to see them playing around with that. I'm curious to see where they go with it. They can't really do the Atlantis thing because they've already been there. So, I'm sure they'll do something else. Oh, and one last fun bit. The two of them fighting over the lamp in that one shot of their years of competition is, of course, a reference to both the opening of the old Ducktales, which showed them struggling over the lamp, and the actual episode where that more or less happened, which I don't remember the title of it. Not the movie with the genie. There was an episode with the genie that ended essentially with the reset button and the lamp being lost forever. Actually, I don't remember if there even was a genie or if it was just a lamp that granted wishes. I don't know. Anyway, it's hard to keep straight in my memory because, of course, it competes with the movie, which was about a genie. Anyway, that was the first episode. It was a lot of fun, and I liked it a lot. The second one was alright. It wasn't great, but it was okay. I imagine if you really liked the Three Caballeros, this was very exciting. I never much cared about them, so... Excuse me. It's quite late, and I've recorded quite a few of these. I apologize for that. But yeah. I completely lost my train of thought, and I'm sorry for that as well. I was talking about the second episode, which has a great title for a mediocre episode. Mediocre is putting it too strongly. It was okay. It was good. It wasn't great. It's not an episode that I am going to come back to, or that I'm particularly excited to watch with Susan, which may or may not happen on camera, but us watching together will probably be a thing. But yeah. It was just kind of there. I feel like not a ton happened in that one. The monster was beat. I'm curious if they have an actual plan for the seed at the end, or if it was just like, let's throw in the classic monster movie, or is it ending? Probably the latter, which is 100% fine. Honestly, for the best, probably. They can bring it back later if they want to, and if not, here's a hook for some fan fictions. I do like the way the people transformed as the monster revealed itself, as the plant. The way they kind of turned inside out into these like googly eyes on the ends of vines. Those could look really goofy if not for the fact that they come from what we thought was a person turning inside out. That kind of tempers the goofiness to make them, you know, as genuinely threatening as anything in Ducktales gets, which is not very. But, you know, it was a fun episode. I feel like Donald focus is never quite as interesting as episodes focused on anyone else, but I mean, it wasn't a bad episode. Like I keep saying, it was just, I don't have a ton to say about it. In fact, I think that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Patreon for early access to vlogs, essays, let's plays, and more. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!